Hello, welcome. So first up, the ruler of my existence, Spanish. So I think if everything goes to plan, I want to take the DELE in April. I am thinking probably the B2 exam, and so obviously leading up to that, I need to do quite a lot of studying and prep for that. So part of that will be doing at least the B2 Lingalia course, which I just made a video about, and it's kind of an all-around grammar course and everything, and there is a, CEFR level course for each level, and so I obviously want to finish the B2 course. The past tenses are in B1 and they are my nemesis, so still reviewing that. If there are other courses that I get to that I end up working on, the more the merrier. I definitely want to keep working on that even before, after the DELE exam, so I'd like to finish, the C1 course as well, some of the podcasts courses, anything else that's of interest, but obviously bare minimum for sure the B2 course to prep for the exam. Then also obviously I will need to do practice exams, maybe some targeted tutoring leading up to the exam. We shall see. Obviously also part of this and part of my life will need speaking and writing practice. Absolutely my number one goal and plan for 2025 is to get very comfortable speaking and writing in Spanish. I'm already comfortable in that I live in a Spanish-speaking country and I am comfortable engaging in my life here. However, I still make so many mistakes, primarily in grammar, and I want to stop doing that. Obviously, some amount of mistakes are normal, but I want to get significantly better. So I will obviously need to practice speaking and writing leading up to the DELE exam, but even above and beyond that, I want to be very comfortable just being a human in normal life speaking and writing in Spanish. So I have already been working on, in the past few weeks, trying to establish a habit of this, and it's been going, mid. I have been writing more than I normally would, but still not to what I would consider a habit. So I really want to continue to make that more. Maybe writing a decent sized thing weekly and daily, doing some kind of self-guided speaking thing where I give myself a topic or scenario and speak. Who knows? We shall see. But I really need to make that dedicated practice a habit, because otherwise no one else is going to make me do it if I don't make myself do it. My only other Spanish really goal at the moment is to read 50 books. I did read over 50 books last year, so in 2023. I don't think I'm going to hit it this year. I think I'll be close, but probably in the low 40s. Part of that is just that I read a little bit less this year than I did last year. My percentage of books read in Spanish is only a little bit lower so far this year, but it feels a lot lower, and I want that to feel higher again. So I want to be reading almost 50% in Spanish. That just makes sense at this point. So it's not exactly the 50 books that I care about, it's the feeling like I'm doing half my reading in Spanish. My next priority, maybe, or at least the next language that I'm going to talk about, is Portuguese. So I have been doing some Portuguese, mostly just input, reading some things here and there, doing some podcasts. Oh man. With how mutually intelligible Spanish and Portuguese are, particularly Brazilian Portuguese, I can pretty much jump into much higher level things than I should be in. So, I'd like to get comfortable with books, movies, etc. By the end of the year, that's certainly reasonable. I can already more or less read if it's a YA book or something like that. Obviously, there are still a ton of things that I don't know, but the biggest things are going to be ironing out those kind of false friends and that kind of thing. But I really do not want to do what I did in Spanish and only focus on input until I'm at a super high level, especially with Portuguese, because then I will just speak Spanish probably. So I do want to start working on speaking and writing soon, very soon. And I think something that I am going to try to do to try to help with this is dictation. So listening to something and writing down what I'm hearing. This is something I did a tiny bit in Spanish, and it really helped me when I was struggling with listening comprehension. And so I think that that will also help here with hopefully developing a better ear for Portuguese and also differentiating things between Spanish and Portuguese. But also, yeah, I want to start working on exercises in speaking and writing and grammar, because otherwise I could easily become like a fully receptive user of Portuguese like I currently am, but at a much higher level where I understand everything but can say nothing basically. I would like to read somewhere around 8 books in Portuguese, so a little less than 1 a month, something like that. Maybe more than that if I read some graphic novels, maybe less than that. We shall see, but somewhere in the ballpark of 8 to 10 books. Next up, we have German. So German, if you're not familiar with my journey with German, it is a weird language for me in that I started learning it as a child, but very little, like just here and there. I have made various attempts to learn it in my life. So I'm definitely like the epitome of false beginner. Like there's so many things that I've forgotten, but then I'll also be able to look at like an A2 text and read most of it depending on what it's about. So anyway, I need to just kind of bring all of this back up to like where I can actually retrieve it and obviously continue filling in gaps, because another thing that I self-studied, so have tons of random gaps. I also did not really understand grammar at all, like when I was younger. So the whole like changing the cases for like direct objects and that sort of thing, like that was virtually completely lost on me. Basically, I want to solidly cover A2 grammar. That's kind of what I'm aiming for. Obviously, I need to find some kind of course or material that has like balanced, coverage of these topics. But that's what I'm thinking would be realistic to do, even if I don't end up devoting a lot of time to German. Like maybe something in my life will happen where I'm like, I need to get good at German. My dad called me. I was like, what is that noise? Nothing that I have ever makes noise, but my iPad ringer was on. So anyway, so I had to watch back to see what I was talking about, because I completely lost track after talking on the phone. But anyway, so who knows, what life may bring. Maybe other languages will become relevant. Maybe German will become extremely relevant. Who knows? But based on the amount of attention that I expect to be able to pay it, I think A2 is reasonable for me. Comprehension in German is significantly harder than Portuguese, or even probably if I started another Romance language, I think. So I do expect shows and books and stuff to still be like a struggle, but hopefully like a fun struggle. So I would like to work on that as well. Maybe like 5 or 6 books in German, potentially. Those are the only languages that I expect to be able to spend a lot of time on, but I would love to start Mandarin. I don't know if it'll happen, but I would love to start it next year. We shall see. Then just a couple other areas that are not languages, but YouTube related. I obviously would love to continue to grow on YouTube. I have had a very slow and steady trajectory, and I would like that to continue. There there's not like a whole lot that I feel like I can do about that other than continue to make videos regularly. I am trying to up the amount of videos that I'm making just a little bit. I don't think I can sustain more than a weekly upload schedule, but maybe by continuing to add in more study videos, maybe possibly going live and studying. I would have to figure out my technology set up for that. I currently do not have nice internet where I am, so I'm not sure about that. And I would also have to figure out some kind of screen sharing, going live. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you know, like what the streamers use to share their screen and their camera and everything. I would have to figure that out. I've never used one of those. But the internet is definitely the biggest problem for that because it's pretty iffy where I am. So I don't know. I do want to kind of revive or continue reviving my book channel. I do have another channel, Jo Renee Reads, where I used to be more active, and I talked about what I was reading, and that was kind of completely dormant for maybe close to a year, and I have recently started here and there uploading videos, and I would like that to be more of a regular thing again and start that community back up growing. It's not as much of a priority, but we'll see if I can make it happen. And on both the book channel and this channel, I'd like to do more challenges again, where either it's like a community thing, like my language quests, I'd like to bring those back, or just like vlogs of doing different kind of challenges. Both things I'd like to bring back. Then personal goals. I really want to run a half marathon next year. I don't know whether that will be an actual event here or whether I will just train for and then run a half marathon on my own. I don't know, but I really want to do it. I currently have only just started running again at all, and I'm running like a mile. So, you know, we got a ways to go, but I know that I can do it. The longest I've ever run before was I think 6.5 miles. So I've done a half marathon, but I've never done a half marathon or anything close to it, but I know that I can. I just need to train for it. And then I would like my savings account balance to go up. That is like literally my only goal pretty much. That's not true, but that's the only that's my bare minimum. I really want that to happen. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have for now. Obviously there are lots of other things that I want to see happen this year, but this is kind of the framework that I am entering the year with as far as goals. I haven't been big on goals in the past year and a half, just because sometimes I find goals inspiring and sometimes I find them to be kind of a drag, and so I think I'm back in a finding them inspiring phase. That does not mean that they will stay the same throughout 2025. I am very excited for 2025, and I'm excited to see other people's videos or posts, or if you just want to share goals in comments, I am excited to see them. Usually I make these videos and then I see a bunch of other people's content and then I add a bunch of things to my goals because I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea. Why didn't I think of that? So I look forward to these goals changing basically immediately. And welcome to the first day of Studymas, or 12 days of languages, or whatever I land on calling this. We are doing a video every other day leading up to Christmas, just to end out 2024 with a fun hangout time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.